get absorbed in, and you are sonic.
What's up, everybody? I'm Taylor Olmstead, and I want to welcome you back to No Repeat, a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create the perfect playlist for every occasion life throws at you. Joining me are my co-hosts, Tyler Reed.
Flex, 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 flex.
And Sean Evans.
Would it be weird if I said that I was trying to get my Daddy AF body to this song?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so not that. So redact that.
It would be very weird. I want to burn all mention of Daddy AF, pour bleach on it and set it on fire, get it out of my life.
I played that for my wife today, and she did not like it that much.
It's because it's not a good song.
It's a great song.
But we're here to talk about good music. Tyler, what was our challenge this week?
Even that's debatable. These last few episodes have been real head scratchers. I'm just saying. This week, who did this one? I don't remember.
You.
This one's
it
for
was
you.
Your idea.
Yeah.
It was not my idea, was it?
You said you've been going to the gym and you wanted some songs.
All right.
I'm keeping this in.
Imperial Gladiator Tyler, which is my own Patreon tier, suggested the perfect song for getting swole, for Puppet Iron, having a great time getting your fitness on.
This stemmed out of a moment on Billy Joe Armstrong's Middle School Notebook, our exclusive podcast for Patreon supporters. Might want to drop a couple bucks and get that if you're interested in where we get these ideas from.
And also quizzed on state capitals.
Yeah, we also sometimes quiz each other on state capitals. Tyler mentioned that he's been hitting the gym, trying to get his summer bod going. And so we decided that would be a good challenge. And I have to say, as a person who doesn't go to the gym very much right now, this was an interesting exercise for me because it made me feel like, A, I need to get back to going to the gym, and B, I've kind of forgotten what kind of music I listen to at the gym. I've been doing a lot more running this spring because it's been really nice here in Atlanta, but now that it's 90 degrees every day for 10 days in a row, I think it's time to go back to the gym. So I'm glad to have a bunch of new gym jams this week.
Not to be confused with Jib Jabs.
Jim's Jams and Jellies. Brought to you by Jim. I was going to say, did you say Jim Jams on it?
I did, and I regret nothing. So what was our methodology like this week, guys? How did we pick these songs?
So I specifically kind of shot from the hip because I knew the exact song that I wanted. But I feel like I had to actually consider the songs that I listen to when I'm at the gym, because a lot of the time I'm typically researching for this show. Actually this week I researched for next week, in which I basically made a WEBN playlist on accident, and I'm horrified at the creation I've made. Gonna burn it with fire. But I think for me, what I was thinking of is there's so many moments when you're at the gym where if you're really pushing for it, there's always that point in your set where you're just I just can't do this. You're I can't keep going. And you just have to hope that at some point, whatever song you're listening to has a moment that just pushes you to the end. You're it has to be so cool or so interesting or so inspiring that it pushes you through.
That's interesting because for me, it's kind of the opposite. My whole thing at the gym is I need something to distract me from the fact that I'm at the gym, because I get bored and then I stop trying, or I get the gym anxiety and then I start worrying about what I'm doing or whatever. But I've found that if I find music that is a little bit complex, or sometimes even a podcast, if it's a really good podcast, takes a part of my brain energy to pay attention to that so that I can just kind of get in a flow state, so to speak. You hear this talked about a lot with writers and programmers where they put on the right kind of music and start writing or coding, and they just kind of can do it for hours, and it's this momentum where once you get rolling, it's really hard to stop. That's how I feel my best workouts are, where once I start going, I just need something complicated to kind of run in the back of my brain while I'm doing the exercise, because otherwise I'm gonna get bogged down in every single tiny little detail of what I'm doing and not get through it,
Mine was Well, this was for Tyler, and I was trying to think about what I do in my workouts that I think is really difficult, because I listen to Tyler's song and it's just 100% intense all the time. And don't get me wrong, we'll talk about it more, and I really like his song. But when I work out, most of my training, since it's endurance sports, is all about intervals. So I like songs that almost have like a grunge-like feeling, where it's like really loud and then soft and then really loud and soft, because intervals are like that. So I like it when I have music to motivate me to do that. And that's kind of why I picked my song.
So let's talk about genre, because we're kind of playing in some territory that we don't always go into this week, kind of foreshadowing our picks. And I'll just say right off the top, like, I was very intentional this week about, like, everything on my playlist of choices for this week was some form of hip hop or rap, because I feel like that's the stuff that I want to hear in the gym. For some reason, rock and roll, much better for running for me, but the more aggressive rap that I listen to, like whether that's kind of a hardcore rap or like a grime or something like dub and bass inspired, like that's what really pushes me when I'm like in the gym, like lifting or doing any kind of strength training. Whereas I feel like Sean was saying, like a good grunge or even like some stoner rock, I can really like put in the miles too. But I wanted to specifically focus on the gym for this challenge. What about you guys as far as genre?
I'm definitely more of the... See, I'm trying to think, because a lot of these playlists, I use my workout playlist to pick songs for this show, actually. But there's certain songs that I listen to on those playlists that I wouldn't bring to the show because I don't necessarily think they warrant the challenges, right? But I think a lot of them are like, I listen to a lot of metalcore when I work out, and I listen to a lot of, I do have a lot of hip hop and rap, and I listen to a lot of remixes too. And I really like, I don't know, what genre would you call like RJD2?
Yeah, I run to a lot of RJD2.
It's not like dance or house or anything like that. Or
I mean, he's probably like closest to trip hop, I guess. But he's kind of all over the place anymore. Like his most recent couple of albums are all over the place. There's one that has like symphonic music on it. So
yeah, or like Matt Zoo.
Oh, Matt Zoo, yeah.
Like the really synth heavy driven stuff. That I listen to a lot of that too.
You should listen to that Jamie XX solo record then. I love running to that. It's really good.
You know, I don't really think genre matters that much to me, but I think it's about the overall composition of the piece, because I think I need something that's kind of constantly moving. I think that's almost like a theme in my songs, where it's like I want like a continual motion. It's the part where I like Dan Deacon because it's just like a wall of sound. Constantly things are happening in different parts. It's very complex, stuff like that. But it's really like, because like I can listen to metal songs, because actually one of my B-sides is I couldn't describe the genre to it, but it's kind of almost kind of like a Deaf Heaven, kind of like a very like metal, very like the vocals are like better than that. Like they're clean vocals, they're not like rough vocals. But I think the vocals are important, is that it has to either be non-existent, easy to listen to. I can't handle anything that's like very hard to get into. Like lots of dirty vocals are not going to work for me, especially if they like take me out of it. Let's see. But Taylor, well, maybe not Taylor, but like I think just doing this podcast has opened me up to the idea of like listening to hip hop more. And so like sort of like my song is actually kind of like my gateway into kind of listening to more hip hop, more rap stuff. But what I do really like about kind of like the rap and hip hop that's kind of coming out right now is that there's really a big focus on the beats and the synths, and there's like kind of like a darkness to it. And it feels kind of heavy, you know. It's kind of, I don't know, because there's something about like, there's something about rap where it's like, it just makes you feel like, it's like there's like a swagger to it. You kind of need like this sort of like powerful like energy, and you can only get that, I think, out of rap. And I wish I could like articulate it better than I am right now. But like, there's just something about that genre that does it better than like rock. It gets at a different kind of emotion than rap does. And maybe that's like the origins, you know, like maybe that's...
I mean, particularly that kind of like braggadocious rap that we're talking about with our two songs this week, because they definitely fall into the category of like braggy rap songs, which is a very broad large category. But no, I think that's a really good point, Tyler. I think we should start with your pick, actually, because I think it's a really fun track, and it kind of bridges from this discussion. Why don't you tell us what you got?
This week I chose Tempo by Lizzo featuring Missy Elliott.
Songs, they for skinny hoes. Can't move all of this here to one of those. I'm a thick bitch, I need tempo. Rough it up to the tempo. Pity pat, pity pat, pity pity pat. Look at my taxes, 50 fat. Kitty cat, kitty cat, kitty kitty cat. Pour me a glass, boy, I like my water wet. Throw it back, good. Catch that. I need a jack for all of this that, but it won't go flat. Baby, come eat some of this cake.
So I'm a relatively new listener to Lizzo. I remember on an episode of Wonderful Griffin talked about her, and I didn't necessarily pick it up, but I think literally someone on one of my Instagram stories was talking about how their very small child liked Juice by Lizzo, and I was like, you know what? Let's give Lizzo a try today. When I'm at the gym, I'm gonna go ahead and give her a try. And then I spent that whole gym session listening to Lizzo, and this came on, and while I was probably doing some abs, doing some crunches, and I was like, yes, this is power. This is giving me life. I can finish this set no matter what happens. The meteor could be striking Earth as we speak, and I could still finish the set. But I would say that I'm not very familiar with Missy Elliott. Except for, let's see, what was her big song? Goodness, I forget. Lose Control. And I feel like you could really kind of, not necessarily draw comparisons to it, but they do feel like they have a very similar energy, and I think that's what I like about it. And I just feel like, just the attitude of this whole song, it's like Taylor was saying, it's very, there's a lot of swag, there's a lot of like chest pumping, and just the synth in the back is just, it's just so spicy. It's just, I don't know, I feel like if more songs had this combination of great beat, great lyrics, I would listen to more. Maybe I just haven't found it yet. By the way, listeners at home, at any time, you can give me suggestions.
So I, like you, was very slow to pick up on the Lizzo train because the hype was really strong, but it was from a camp of people that I don't normally take music recommendations from. Usually the people that I've heard recommending Lizzo, they usually just listen to different stuff that I like. But when you put this pick in and I started listening to it, I was like, oh man, this song is awesome. And I've spent this week falling in love with Lizzo. This song really stands out in the stuff that I've listened to production wise. I think what makes this song so special, like you said, is that beat. The descending synth pattern is really powerful. The thing that really gets me, though, is how minimal this beat is. There's not a lot going on. And in particular, it doesn't have trap drums, which, don't get me wrong, I live in Atlanta. I like trap. I appreciate what it's done for the genre. I feel like we're on the tail end of it, though. It's starting to get a little overplayed. Lorde had trap in some of her songs on her last album, and it worked, but I'm like, okay, I think it's time to move to a different sound. And this feels like the natural evolution away from trap to something different, which I like.
I just noticed that that's mostly just that synth beat, and that's it. You're right, it's very minimal. I like that a lot.
I mean, there is a kick drum and there is a snare, but there's no hi-hats, which are the trademark of trap. Right. I think Lizzo's delivery on this is great. She makes it sound totally effortless, which I love. I like the rolled R's at the ends of lines, which starts with Lizzo, but then by the time you get to Missy Elliott, she's rolling R's in words that don't even have R's in them.
Good.
Which is such a Missy Elliott thing to do. It just shows how technically good Missy Elliott is as a rapper. You're like, oh, wow. Yeah, okay, Missy Elliott's back. All right. It's like you said, Tyler, this song just has power. From the first listen, you get it. And the hook is so good that some songs hook that, I'm not even sure I could say all the words on here. I don't know how we're going to bleep this for the edit. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, what a great fire workout track. This song is obviously meant for working out. She's trying to do that. You hear it in the verses where she's talking about exercise and losing weight. This is a gym track, and I'm glad that she just leaned into that and went with it. Yeah, I love this song. This is awesome.
I agree with Taylor. I think one thing that if this I would put this on a workout playlist. It wouldn't necessarily be my go-to song on a workout playlist because it's just the nature of the song just is very it's very intense all the way across, and I don't like. I need that up and down for me to go better. But I don't know, if I was just going on like a nice long run, this would be good. Because sometimes you just need, like, Taylor, you understand, you just need like a jam at some point in time that just gets you going, because you've like had it
right around like mile 6.
Right, you're just done, and you're like, okay, this is it. Or like when I run by like a crowd of people, all of a sudden there's a bunch of people around. I'm like, oh yeah, now I really want to have my cool jam because, you know, I work hard on these lakes.
You want to feel like you're in an Apple Watch commercial, just like juking around people? Oh man, what a great song.
That's what I'm saying.
So does it make sense to go from that into my song, since I have the other rap song this week?
Yeah, we might as well just do it. Yeah.
Awesome. So then my song this week is Legend Has It by Run the Jewels.
Of a Mongol and mythical team, dealing this treacherous thing. Legend says Ellen's a spawn out of hell. The myth is my mama's a murderous queen. Yo, I can end like in Godfather 1. You get the gun as I christen my son. If I die today in this hell, I should pay. Tell the Lord Mikey said, fuck, it was fun.
Every new record's my dick in a box. We get a doozy, the rulers a lot. You're getting used to me doing no wrong. I don't play chicken, you prick, I'm a fox. You wanna kick it, I'll give you the rocks. You kiss the wood chipper blade if you bark. I'm fucking magic, in fact, I'm a war like a talk. I got a unicorn horn for a
Stop.
I've been waiting a long time to put Run the Jewels on this playlist. I love Run the Jewels. I feel like I'm contractually obligated to love Run the Jewels as the Atlanta correspondent. Like, I get my hair cut at Killer Mike's barbershop. I have to. I had to do it. And I feel like of all the challenges, this is the time. I saw an interview with them once where I forget which one of them said it, but they said, we find it hilariously ironic that 2 overweight middle-aged guys apparently make the best workout music. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Legend Has It is a typical Run the Jewels song in a lot of ways. It's got that just crazy maximalist LP production with tons of samples in the beat, like a hook that's kind of there but not really, and it's just Elle and Mike just like riffing for 3.5 minutes. It's braggadocious, it's kind of violent, it's very dark, it's very funny, it's extremely profane. And I think they say Run the Jewels like 10 times in it. Like, that's basically what you want out of a Run the Jewels song. And the thing that I love about this song is, like, you can tell how fun it is for them. I'll link in the show notes to their Tiny Desk performance of it. And they're having so much fun doing this song, like, cursing their heads off at NPR, that Mike forgets 2 lines. And then when they finish the song, he just recites them off cold to prove that he can do it. And I'm like, it's just impressive. Like, the technical skill is amazing. The beat is awesome. I love Run the Jewels. This track is great. One of the best lines in the song is, we keep it middle school, I'm stepping on your toes. Like, and that's one of the ones I can say out loud on this podcast without bleeping, because some of the other ones are very gross.
I think that's what makes listening to Run the Jewels so much fun when you're working out, is because they're so in sync with each other, and they know how to, when they make their music, like I'm watching the live performance now, they just have that energy about them that you can really capitalize on when you're working out and you're listening to Run the Jewels, because there's like something awesome about how Run the Jewels always seems to have this like kind of imaginary enemy, but you're like the hero. And what can I say? That's awesome. Good pick.
Yeah, I mean, when you hit the end of a set and Mike's saying, we're the crew you can trust, warranty plus for f***ing shit up, like, it's perfect.
I'm putting this on my playlist. I'm actually gonna make a workout playlist, and I probably won't like publicly report back on that, but Taylor's been pushing Run the Jewels for a pretty long time, and I was like, oh, this is fine. This is fine, you know, like, whatever. But I think what you're saying is pretty on point, where I do feel like they're having the most fun all the time. And it took until like this literal second when I'm seeing them do this Tiny Desk concert where they're just cheesing this entire time, because it's just like, you're right, they do have such a synergy together. They just know how to do it. And then, I mean, these people have been they've been doing this like for like a while, right? Like, this isn't their first project, correct?
Oh yeah, Killer Mike's been around since the mid-90s, and I want to say LP just as long.
Yeah, so like these are like professionals, and they're like, this is like their magnum opus. And like I said previously, I'm still new to like the rap genre, and I don't know if I still 100% get it, but I do love the attitude of the song. And you're right, I do like the beats are good. I still have to like really digest like what they're actually saying though. See, like, I'm sure you've like looked up the lyrics, like, because I don't know. I feel like the way that they say it is not exactly the easiest for like comprehension the first time around or the second time around. Did you like have to look up the lyrics, Taylor?
This is an interesting thought, right? So, at least for me, I've listened to so much Run the Jewels that when I hear a new song of theirs, I can pick up the lyrics pretty quickly. But I also like know the rhythms that they typically work with. And I think that's half the battle, is when you're learning a new rapper, you kind of have to like get used to their flow before you can then quickly digest what they're saying. And so like I think it was Run the Jewels 2 was the first one that I listened to. And yeah, I had to like pull up lyrics for like every single song. But when this album came out, Run the Jewels 3, I don't think I've ever actually looked up the lyrics to any of these songs. And there are probably a couple words that I'm missing here and there, but I've listened to their voices for so long that I feel like I've just gotten used to what they're probably saying the first time around.
That's what's actually funny is that there was a guy that like remade the Pokemon rap. And he like went around and he verbally explained like how like rapping with like triplets works, because that's basically like a lot of what they're doing. And it's funny to see him like include so many extra Pokemon names into the rap because he's able to rap in that style. So like I feel like if I understand how that works and I can like comprehend that like that methodology a lot better, I probably will be able to understand what they're saying.
Yeah, you'll get used to it with repeated listens. All right, Sean, that leaves you. What you got for us?
So this week I chose Gotta Get a Grip, the remix version by Kevin Parker.
Come on!
Mick Jagger had a solo album that was pretty good. And if you know me, you also know that I really like Tame Impala. So when I found the two together, I was like, yeah. So that's why I chose this song, because Mick Jagger's lyrics are easy to understand, and he kind of has that never give up spirit kind of lyrics. And I like the intense psychedelia that Kevin Parker brings to Tame Impala. So this remix is really good, and I found myself when I've been out running and riding this week that I've kept going to this song over and over. Because at first when I put it on my playlist for working out, I didn't like it that much. I skipped it a lot. But I think about 2 weeks ago, I was listening to it going to work, and I was like, wow, this is really good. I really like this. And I think it's because we're in the summer, and there's this like big reverb, and Mick Jagger is just he's a legend. So it just fits really well for the time, because it's, Taylor knows, when you live in the South, it's hot, and like you just need something to like get in your soul and help you keep going through the heat.
Yeah, I'm like you. I didn't really like this song that much on the first pass, but the more I've listened to it, I've gotten really into it. I think you do kind of have to separate the two and look at their individual contributions, right? So like Mick Jagger's contribution to this, his vocal reminds me why Mick Jagger is as famous as he is, right? Because sometimes I'm like, Mick Jagger, like, he's not my favorite. I'm way more of a Beatles guy, as regular listens will know. But when you listen to this, it's like, man, for a white boy, Mick Jagger's got soul, you know? Like, he brings the blues, which is ultimately what the Rolling Stones are and were, as an electric blues band. And so I think you take that, like, real intense spirit and soul of a Mick Jagger vocal, and then you put it over, at least partially, a Kevin Parker psychedelia instrumental. And like you were saying, it has this like intense, reverby psychedelic feel. Almost like if Sympathy for the Devil was made today. Right? Because like it still has that like street percussion kind of sound to it. It has the bongos, it has the shakers, like, which is very classic Rolling Stones. But then the guitars are 100% Tame Impala. And I think that juxtaposition really works. It's also like, it's got just enough stop and go to it to feel like it could work as a lifting kind of workout song. But it's also flowy and psychedelic, so you could run to it. which I think is nice because I feel like Tyler and our songs are pretty focused, like single use case, whereas this song, like, it's a cross training song. You could do a lot to it.
What do you think, Tyler?
I did notice that the song really matters when you're on the treadmill. Because I can go up like a whole like other level if I got the right song. If it's the right jam, like I'm not gonna start running. Like I don't run on a treadmill, but like I'll go from like a 2 to like a 3 to like a 4 if it's the right jam. This feels like a treadmill song for me because I definitely feel like when I'm doing like weight machines, I'm usually always furious and always very sweaty. But like I feel like treadmilling is very much like, it's gotta have the right kind of beat, you gotta have the right tempo. I don't know, it just feels good for running. Now, that being said, typically not a huge Rolling Stones fan. The word's still out on whether or not I like Tame Impala, so this was a tumultuous pick, but I came away with it, liking it pretty alright. I actually listened to it several times, like back to back, because Spotify sometimes sucks where you accidentally just kind of click a song and it's like you want to hear this again for forever, right? And I'm like, I guess I have to now. But I also went back and I listened to the original song. And I definitely say that every remix is better than the original.
I feel like you're right.
Yeah.
It makes sense that there's like 4 remixes. I'm not a fan of remixes. Not, don't get loud, don't at me. But typically,
this may actually be the first remix on the playlist.
I think that's true. I think that's right.
Wow.
But no, I feel like I have to always go back and like listen to both like side by side again. But like I do like the kind of the spaciness of this. I do think because that's like the Tame Impala element, right? Is that it feels like it's very reverbed, very loud, very spacey kind of. And
I think that's like when I got both of your songs, I totally understood the lifting aspect. But I think not just because I do more cardio than anything, but I think like sometimes when my joke is that every day for me is legs day. And like I don't have an upper body day. I did 5 push-ups this week. I basically couldn't lift my arms up. Like 5 push-ups. That's it. I got to the 90-degree flexed arm hang doing a pull-up and I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish it.
Well, I got a little baby belly, so I'm just trying to get rid of that. I'm trying to crush it into diamonds. So like that's kind of I always look for good cardio songs to put on playlists for workout, because I feel like if you just have one that's just constantly like pumping up songs, it doesn't really lead you down a good cardio path, because cardio is all about pacing. And I think one thing that I like having, because sometimes when I make a workout playlist, I pick a song that's a little bit longer and has a little bit, it might not always have the most up tempo, because as Taylor knows well, like when you do long periods of cardio, it's like hardcore meditation sometimes, where you have like all these feelings and stuff that pop up and you have to like confront them and you're in pain, and you just need something that's like not about pain, something that might be a little softer. Well, that's true, because you're talking about in motion cardio.
Or something that might be a little more epic. Yeah.
Cardio in motion, which is much more painful than standing stationary cardio. Ugh.
No, I get that. I get that for sure.
But that's my problem with like Apple Music and Spotify workout playlists, is that they're so like,
they're up all the time.
Everything they have is hard hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no like organic movement, I guess. It's just like if you could just floor it for an hour and a half.
What I've changed to is if I'm going on a long run like that, I do like the top in a genre playlist, because you're right, I find that it has more peaks and valleys. So like Apple Music calls it the A-list, and I'll do like A-list alternative or A-list indie, maybe even A-list electronic, depending on my mood.
That's a good point. But no, I love this as I think that's a really good point, that you're talking about the instrumentation and how organic it is, because you're right, because like a lot of like beats, you can just make it whatever. And you can, of course guitar, you can always, drag and force, am I right? But I think this is a great example of like, this is, just a straight up kind of like rock song that's been altered a little bit to be like a little more breathy. And it feels good. I would put this on a running / treadmill playlist. I'm just want to make that clear. This is good. I think it's a good pick.
And now it's time for notable B-sides, and these were songs that were so close to getting on your workout playlist, but guess they're not really getting you swole. Anybody got some notable B-sides this week?
I sure do. I was really close to picking Pattern Up Properly by Wiley, which is a grime track that's a UK subgenre of hip-hop, if you're into that sort of thing. Also, Ego Death by Bus Driver, On Sight by Kanye West, and Element by Kendrick Lamar.
I actually have a surprisingly long one this week. So I picked Pub Feed by the Chats because sometimes when you're working out, you're just doing it for the next meal.
Cannot not sing that song when it comes on when I'm running. I'm like going down the sidewalk, like mouthing the words, all I need is a good pub feed, and I think the neighbors think I'm crazy.
Sometimes all you need is a good pub feed. Yeah. So I also have, I really like Tyler, the Creator lately for working out. So I have off of his new album, Igor, unless it's pronounced Igor. Not really sure. You could laugh if you want. What's Good? And then I also really like his Kali Uchis song that he did collaborative with her called See You Again. I think sticking with the hip hop route, Wow by Post Malone is really good. I also really like classic rock. So like I just went back to, I know we already talked about this from a Baseball Walk-Up song was All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix, but sometimes that's just really, really good. I have a song that I want to pick for later this week, for like later in the challenge sometime, which is fine, but I just don't want anybody to steal it. It's called Hot Car, and the band is called Being Dead. It's about a woman who just loves her car.
I support this.
It's awesome. It's so awesome. It's like really lo-fi. And the first time I listened to it, I was like, what is this? But then I put it on a list, and it's just so much fun when it's hot outside to just like this punky shoegazer lo-fi song about a car. It's awesome.
I chose another Lizzo song. She did a cover of Staying Alive for the movie Happy Death Day to You. It's pretty good. Also, another song from a movie. I recently just got done watching the new Godzilla movie, and Serj Tankian does a cover of Godzilla, and it's pretty hype, which I went back and I listened to System of a Down this week just to check in with them. 12-year-old me probably was into it. I'm not into System of a Down anymore. And then Bury It by Churches.
Oh, Churches is my running jam.
Yeah.
Just all Churches, even the slow songs. But Tyler, if people want to suggest some more hip-hop acts or rappers that you should listen to, where can they send those?
You can find my design illustration work at rootpets.club, and you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and apparently now Jiffy as Rude Pets Club.
Sean, if people need more stoner rock recommendations from you, where can they get those?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at TellySean.
And if you want to chat with me, you can find me on the socials as at TC Olmstead. And if you like what we do here at No Repeat, you should leave us a review in your podcast app of choice. It helps other people find the show. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with 3 more songs on another episode of No Repeat.
Welcome to the podcast zone. We're all having a great time.